Hi, I'm Dan Carter-Passy. Welcome to another episode of Dan's Backshop. I thought maybe we'd take another look at my workbench and see what's going on. So I've still got a little bit of a mess going on, but it's a little cleaner than it was, believe it or not. Or at least it's a little more organized than it was. Got some piles of stuff on both sides, but the actual workbench where the blue cloth is actually pretty clean right now. So one reason I cleaned up is to make room for this new printer. This is for my artwork. It's a Canon. And it seems to be a pretty good printer, so far anyway. Been using it and it's been working, so that's what counts. So this is one of the models that I have out right now. This is an Athearn Southern Pacific SD40R that I'm in the process of reviewing. So this is my model of Cotton Belt 4203, which is a GP35R. This has been a work in progress for a really long time, and I'm trying to make a push to get it finished right now. As you can see, it still needs side handrails. So this is the Cotton Belt B30-7 from the SP Consist build, and as it happens, it also needs handrails. Speaking of handrails, I have these GE handrails from KV Models, and I haven't tried these before, but I'm starting to work with them. As you can see, I've cut some of them out, and I've folded them up and getting them ready to mount on the model, and I put them in a plastic bag so I don't lose them. This is an Athearn EMD Leasing SD70M. I put the stock handrails on it, but I'm not too happy with the ones on the side because the stanchions all lean in different directions, and that's not very good looking. The end ones are okay, but this is another one that's going to need some new handrails. And as it happens, my California Northern GP15-1 also needs new handrails because the ones that are on it just don't fit very well, the stock handrails. This engine and the SD70M are actually pretty much finished. They've got decoders installed and all the lights and everything are already done. So just some cosmetic things to get them finished. So this collection of parts is actually going to be a Chicago and Northwestern C44-9W. And this one consequently also needs side handrails. I did a bunch of detailing to the underside of this one, which is not something I normally do, but on Dash 9s you can actually see this stuff. So I was pretty happy because this one's been a project for a long time too, and it's now just about ready to paint. So it should be going into the paint booth pretty soon. And oh look, I have some brass pieces that I've been bending into handrails. So if you're thinking that I might be working on a handrail video, you'd be right. A lot of people have asked about that, so I decided it was finally time to get that going. So quite a few years ago, I bought a couple of basket case Kato GP35s off of eBay, and actually started working on them. These are both going to be Southern Pacific units. So I've done quite a bit of work to these already. I've done a lot of work to the pilots, and I've also done a lot of work to the rear end and the long hood. As you can see, I've added some Canon fans and other Canon parts, and also a rear headlight cluster for this one. This is going to be a GP35R. And this one is going to be an unrebuilt GP35, so it still has the stock headlight in the back. These aren't quite as far along, but these are some Kato SD40s that I'm working into turning into Southern Pacific SD40Rs. So as seems to be my norm, I usually start with the rear of the engine because that's where the most work is on SP units. I got to get rid of the rear number boards completely, and that requires a lot of sanding and filling, so I usually start with that. And then of course cutting out all the holes for the fans and such. So I have some trains hiding in the cabinet as well. I just put those SP SD40Rs back in there. I don't remember if I showed this one before or not, but this is a Proto 2000 GP30 decorated for Rio Grande. The nose light on these wasn't in the correct location. To fix that, I had a second GP30 shell that didn't have a nose light at all. And what I did was I did some surgery on it to put the nose light in the correct place and then painted and decaled it for Rio Grande. So I'm going to replace the stock nose with this one at some point. I also got rid of 3 of the stock fans so that I can replace them with Canon parts. This one still needs a little more cosmetic work, but I think eventually I'll use it for a DCC shop episode. I know some people were asking for a Proto 2000 video, so I'll use this one as an example. So in case anyone was wondering, I am still working on this little NN3 260 for the Siren Creek layout. I'm just kind of focused on trying to build a cover for it right now so that I can keep the cats off. So that's kind of taken precedence over working on the engine for the moment. So I wanted to talk just for a minute about the cloth that I use for the backdrop here. This is just laid over the counter and then tacked to the wall. And it's just some cloth that I got at a local fabric store. And I chose the blue color because it's kind of easy on the eyes, and it's also a sort of a mid-tone value, meaning that it's not too dark and not too light. If you're going to do any video of any kind of how-to something, or stuff where you've got objects on a bench like this, it's good to have a color that doesn't clash with whatever you're working on. And this one seems to work pretty well. Even a blue boxcar will show up pretty well on this. And I don't want to use white because white tends to blow out the video, and I don't want to use like pure black because that tends to be too dark. So, and dark stuff doesn't show up on that very well. So anyway, chose this. It seems to work pretty well. This is actually the second cloth I've used. I don't know if anyone's noticed that the shade of blue is changed a little from what it used to be. That's because the old cloth got spilled on too many times and I had to get rid of it because it was too stained up. So I couldn't find the same exact fabric again, so I got this. So I actually have some garden trains hiding up near the ceiling, and the reason I'm showing these is I've actually started to work on a garden layout. It's just in the very beginning stages right now, but I'm hoping to maybe get at least a loop done before Halloween when Nichole sets up her big display. So I guess that'll do it for now. If you like this video, then please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned and thanks for watching.